Эти инструменты очень часто употребляются в различных ансамблях. Две домры. Или, например, домра и баян. Мы сейчас для вас сыграем несколько произведений для дуэта домры и баяна. Первое произведение называется «Субботея». Субботея, слово «субботея» происходит от слова «суббота». И, конечно, обозначает, что сегодня суббота, выходной день. Работать мы не будем, а будем отдыхать, будем петь и танцевать. Это была танцевальная мелодия, да, под которую можно плясать. А сейчас мы сыграем для вас одно из наших любимых произведений «Чардаш», написанное Викторио Монти. Это произведение было написано для скрипки и мандолины. Домра очень похожа на мандолину. Если вы заметили, она тоже имеет 4 струны, только у мандолины струны двойные. Да, у меня вот И, А, Д и G. Значит, у мандолины будет две каждой струны, 2 И, 2 Д, 2 А. Поэтому на домре можно играть все те произведения, которые написаны для скрипки и для мандолины. что в одном месте я играла такой специальным таким приемом, который называется по-русски флажолеты, а по-английски называется harmonics. Since we are in physics and astronomy building, I think it's really appropriate. When you will look at how string vibrates, it vibrates the whole thing, then in half, in third, in fourth, and so forth. So if you will manage to break the string right in that 1 second or 1/3 or 1/4 part and pluck, you will get something which is called harmonic. So that's the string. I'm breaking it in half. I'm breaking it in 3 parts. And in 4 parts. The rest you also can get them, but they are not so bright. Now I would like Anatoly to tell us a little bit about his instrument before we start playing the next piece on the program.
Okay, this squeeze box called Russia Bayan. It was actually created in 1911. Russian maker Beloborodov. Actually, in Russia was created first chromatic accordion. It was created first in Russia because before all small harmonics and accordions, they were diatonics. You know what means diatonics, right?
Not really. Well, diatonic, it means that between the notes there are whole steps. And harmonic means that between the notes there are half steps.
Oh.
This is a whole step, and this is a half step.
Yeah, like it means diatonic. It means each instrument was tuned by for small tunes, right? That you can play really easy without bothering with extra buttons or keys. It's diatonic, but chromatic you have all notes, all sounds, right?
Yeah,
sounds. Okay, and it was first created in Russia in 1911, and this instrument is really complex one. It's called, it's a Russian brand called Jupiter. Jupiter. It's a very expensive instrument.
See, we are in physics.
Yeah, it's like at that time I purchased this instrument in 1988, and at that time factory would produce maybe 5-6 instruments per year. Everything made by hand. Like makers will do each simple reed. Everything was made by hand. And right now, this instrument is so popular. With buttons, is always.
Just show us a little bit of the range.
Okay, I'll show. But
you do in Russian too. It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can speak Russian.
It's good for me. Yeah, right now, like all Italian factories that produce accordions, like all famous factories in Italy and Germany, they all produce bayans, and they call them bayans. Like you can purchase it costs $20,000, $25,000. Yeah, it's really expensive. And what is interesting in this for this instrument, there is 4 different sets of reeds, and they all hidden somewhere inside of the instrument. And if you will use only one set, it will produce different kind of sound. For example, this set of reeds we call clarinet. Sounds like clarinet, right? This one we call oboe. This one we call piccolo. If we will combine, and we have another one, I like this one, bassoon. If we combine bassoon and piccolo, we will get, what do you think? What do you think? Okay, yeah. Yeah. And we have like 16 combination of different sets, and it sounds like
Sounds like
chord,
modern electronic music.
Yeah, sometimes.
So you can get anything out of the keyboard. So let's play.
Yeah, let's play something.
Мы сыграем сейчас для вас произведение Игоря Пономаренко, которое называется «Лирический танец». You're going to go to Russia, right, next year? So why don't you imagine yourself sitting somewhere on the streets of Moscow on the bench and looking around? It's very nice. Contrabass players in the world. Tom is working on his Russian. Tom was born in the United States, and his name Tom Barnes, we made it into Russian. Tom is Foma, and Barn is Ambar, so we call him Foma Ambarov.
Contrabass balalaika, the largest instrument in the orchestra, plays the same role as a bass fiddle in the orchestra. The only thing different really, other than that we use a pick to pluck the strings instead of a bow to sustain the note. Actually, to sustain a note, you do what's called a tremolo, and you've seen Arena do it, where you vibrate the string back and forth with the pick. And on a contrabass, when you're playing on these ropes, it's kind of difficult sometimes. And the instrument was actually made by a gentleman that wasn't able to come today, Peter Rothé. He was in a group back in the 70s called the Odessa Balalaikas that toured. They were actually from UCLA originally. They started at UCLA, and somebody donated some Russian instruments to the UCLA music department, and they started a Russian orchestra here. And so there's some history here between us and you guys. Besides the fact I live in Bruins football. So. Anyway, the instrument was made by Peter in a matter of about 2 weeks. He was a luthier, and they were on tour, the Odessa Balalaikas. The contrabass was stolen. He flew home and built one in 2 weeks, and then flew back with the contrabass and continued the tour. Kind of crazy. Only 3 strings, not 4 strings. EAD, tuned like a regular bass, and no high G string at all. So I have to do a little more work become a pie on the neck, play the other notes. It's kind of interesting. My son, sometimes when I practice, if you notice, I got these things on for tendonitis I get from playing so much. So I practice on an electric bass occasionally. And my son said, "Well, Dad," and he plays in a rock band. "Dad, you know, the high G string broke." And I said, "That's no problem. I can play the you know, with only 3 strings. It's okay." So, anyway, inside joke. Then basically the role, you know, there's not the bass doesn't get melodies too often. Occasionally we do, but most of the time we're just playing the back, you know, the structure of the backbone of the actual ensemble. But one little melody I like to play, it's let's see if I don't blow it here. It's called Valinki. It's one of the times I do get a little solo, so I'm going to give it an attempt here. A little melody once in a while. A little melody. Any questions you guys have about the bass now?
By any chance, is that a drinking song?
Valinki? I don't think so.
Well, it's a dancing. It's a dancing melody.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, which reminds me, I wanted to tell you about the first time I actually heard this tune before I played with the ensemble. If you guys are going to Russia, are any of you going to St. Petersburg at all? Okay, great, wonderful city, wonderful city. There's a wonderful group there called the Tarim Quartet. I don't know if you guys have heard of them before. You've heard of Peter Gabriel, right, on the Real World label. They were one of the first Russian artists to sign with him. And their first album called Tarim. If you look up the Tarim Quartet in Google and look them up, you'll see them. And they live in St. Petersburg. If you get to go to St. Petersburg and they're doing a concert, by all means go see them. They're one of the best ensembles. Yes?
How much does that weigh?
Not bad. I weighed it once. I stood on a scale holding it and got off, and about 20 pounds. It's not, the main thing that's to drag about it is it's very bulky and difficult. I actually had to go, when I went shopping for a car, I took it with me to make sure it would fit in my car. So yeah, it fits in a Jetta, great. So, but basically that's it. And if you guys ever are interested, again, look at RussianStrings.com. We have some videos on the website you can check out, and also check out the Tarim Quartet. I'm sorry.
What's the reason for it being so big? Is it just for show?
Volume, yeah, the show too. Yeah, mostly volume. You know, because if you think about it, if you sit it sideways, except for being so wide, it's kind of about the size of a bass fiddle. You know, maybe a little bit shorter, but yeah. And this weird thing on the bottom is like a pin, like what a cello has. And I kept the. If I ever lose that, I'm in trouble. And it has a little cup thing on the bottom to grip the floor so it doesn't slide. It's kind of nice. So, and it squeaks a lot like a USS Bellavecchia. That's it.
Well, probably you don't know what valinki are. Have you ever heard the word?
Yeah.
Well, can you explain it to those who didn't? What is the definition? Valinki in Russian. No.
Can somebody else answer?
Oh, it's okay. I can do that. I can do it. Valinki are woolen boots. And when it gets really, really cold in Russia and temperature might go below 35 or 40 Celsius, any kind of shoes will not help you. And if you put on woolen boots, you'll be able to go and take a walk in that terrible frost, and you will not get cold. And that's how our ancestors survived those harsh winters. The song was very popular during Second World War because it's very enthusiastic, very happy, and it was giving a lot of spirit to people who were living through hard times. We're going to play for you a music which was written for a movie by a Russian composer, Andrei Gavrilin. It's called Russian Carnival. you a little bit about our last project we did. We were writing music, composing music, and recording music for a movie which is going to be released in 2012. And this is equalization of Leo Tolstoy's story, which is called Two Hussars, or in English, Two Jacks. The only is, it's a modern version of it. You know, it's very popular when you go now to opera house, they will produce Don Giovanni, but the action will actually happen right now, nowadays. So it makes it a little bit closer. And the whole idea is that a real piece of art doesn't really have any time border. So if it's true, if it's real, it could be applied in the world of ancient Egypt, in Russia of 19th century or 20th century, and America of 21st century. So the story is actually applying to Hollywood, and it's, instead of two hussars, they have two movie producers, father and son. And they show this big story about how movies are made, how Hollywood people are living, what kind of environment, how they enjoy their life, what problems they are facing while producing movies. And for us it was really, really interesting to be able to get into this kitchen of movie and see how music is written exactly for a certain scene, for example, from two, and you have to squeeze it. Whatever you write, it has to be 15 seconds, not 16 seconds. And to produce this movie, this movie is produced by famous British producer Bernard Rose. He filmed Anna Karenina, and he filmed also a movie which almost everybody's seen about Beethoven. It's called Immortal Beloved. And the actors are Selena Miller and Danny Houston. And for us it was a lot of fun and pleasure to participate in the movie. So we want to play for you a melody which was used in the movie as a love theme and actually goes all through the movie. It's used in the beginning, at the very end, and it's a famous Russian romance, I Met You.
your hand ever get like, kind of like, have this happen to it again? Like,
Well, yeah, it's a good question. I've been trained for many, many years, and I started practicing sitting next to the mirror and just moving very slowly back and forth. I can do it probably for 3-4 hours on the row without having problems. Then, of course, I need to take a little break because muscles are getting to really work out. But it's just a matter of training. It's pretty much like you look at the figure skaters, what they can do, and you think, oh my God, how they can do. They are trained to do that. Now, we have a little surprise for you. I want to show you that it's not difficult at all to learn how to play a musical instrument, especially Russian instrument, balalaika or dombra. And if any of you are interested, you can again Google our Russian Strings Orchestra. It's called Los Angeles Balalaika Orchestra. And we do teach students. An example is Crystal. Look how beautiful she plays. And it took her about 3 years to get as good as she is. So if you are interested and you think that you might come to rehearsals once a week and have pleasure to playing music, you're very welcome to do so. Does anybody have experience of playing any string instrument? Violin, guitar, bass? Very good. Why don't you? Can you? Well, balalaika is not as difficult to learn how to play because balalaika has frets, right? Like a guitar. What instrument do you play?
Viola.
Viola, wow. So you are used to play without frets. It's going to be easier for you. So for every half a step, there is a metal line here, which is called fret, right? And if you know your finger numbers, you do 1, 2, 3, 4, right? We count only to 4. I say you never can get like F in math. Only 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So all you do on the first string, you get to this note, like 3rd fret, and you play 3, 3, 2, 2, open, 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 2, 3, 3, 2, 2, open, open. 3, 3, 2, 2, open, 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 2, 3, 3, 2, 2, open, open. Then you use your thumb. That's you never done on viola that, right? So you go like this on these 2 strings and do this. 3, 3, 2, 2, open, 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 2, 3, 3, 2, 2, open. So let's try. Wait. 3, 3, 2 of each. 3, 3, 2, 2, open, 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 2, 3, 3, 2, 2, open, open, and go this. Just relax. Just relax. 3, 3, 2, 2, open, 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 2, 3, 3, 2, 2, open. And in the right hand, you're going to use very simple stroke. We call it stroke бряцание. So you do бряц, like бряц, that's it, right? So you go like this. 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, open, 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 2, 3, 3, 2, 2, open, open, 3, 3, open, 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 2, 3, 3, 2, 2. Be my guest. Here's a chair for you. Okay. I don't think it's one. Yes. So remember, 3, 2, 3, 2, where there is another very simple Russian instrument. You can find it in any kitchen, but of course in Russia and Ukraine they get decorated. I really use this one in my kitchen, you can tell, right? Okay, so ложки. Wow, what acoustics. Anybody plays percussion? Okay, so you can stand behind there. And we have another percussion instrument, bubin. Bubin? See, everybody wants to play percussion, I know that. People think it's easy, but as a matter of fact, it's very difficult because percussionists absolutely cannot make any mistakes. Has to hold everybody together. So why don't you stand right here on this side, and you can improvise a little bit, but it's just simply you hold it in your right hand, and you just something like this. So, Well, you can do your own rhythm as soon as it feels together with mouth. Okay. This melody, which is called Vasaduli в огороде, was used by very famous Russian composer Rimsky-Korsakov. I'm sure you've heard the name, and you heard the most popular work, of course, is Scheherazade, right? So he used this melody in the opera, The Tale About Tsar Sultan, Сказка о царе Салтане. So, we're going to start with you, and you just keep going the same, back and forth, okay? And you're so good. Please come to our orchestra. We'll teach you how to play. Okay. Are you guys ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you so much. You just can, wow. You can practice at home, just get spoons out of the cabinet and try to sing something and play spoons together with it. Crystal, why don't you come and join us for the last piece? Now, do you have questions? That's a good time for you to ask questions. And if you ask questions in Russian, we would really love it.
Extra credit.
Yeah, extra credit. No questions? Yes.
Do you ever try to put modern music to the instruments, like right for balalaika or for domra?
Domra?
With modern music or not really?
Modern? Yes, you can play, as I said, you can play any kind of music. We have a young lady in the orchestra, her name is Nadia. And she, as a matter of fact, she plays tenor domra, and in the break she just sits and plays Lady Gaga. Lady Gaga on domra. And you can play whatever you want. And the other thing, if you learn how to play one instrument, as you said you play viola, it's going to be easier for you to learn other instruments because you kind of know the tool. You already know how music works and how fingering works. So never tell to yourself, I can't. Just be brave, get something in your hands and learn how to do it, and you will enjoy it. Again, I invite you to come and talk to us after the lecture if you are interested. Also, we have a few CDs and DVDs if you would like to have them. So come and talk to us. We're going to conclude our lecture with a very famous Russian song, Sветит месяц. It's a dance tune, and it's very, very popular. It was arranged by Vasily Andreev. Remember, we were talking about him in the beginning, the father of Russian balalaika orchestra. And as a matter of fact, in that movie, a new movie, which is called Two Jacks, music by Vasily Andreev is going to be performed in the movie, and it's the first time in Hollywood history that Russian folk music will be actually a base for the whole movie. It's like opera based on Russian music. So look for it. It's called Two Jacks. You can get and see the website. And are you ready to join us for the Bright Shine the Moon? русского языка. Желаем вам хорошей поездки в Россию, если вы собираетесь ехать, и найти хороших новых друзей. Желаю вам хорошего лета, отдохнуть тоже. Всего самого-самого хорошего. До свидания.
Вам